So as an undergrad, I studied journalism, but then around and about, the beginning of my senior year, I was like, I don't really want to be a journalist. So I was like, what am I going to do? And I've always really loved kids, and I've always worked with kids. During college, I worked at a daycare center, and I was like a camp counselor on my summers during college. And so I was like, I really like kids, so maybe I should go into education and think about that. But then I was like, what am I going to do here in my senior year? And so I went to a couple sessions on campus hosted by Teach for America. And I was like, this is my way in. So I went through Teach for America, and I got placed in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I taught there for 4 years. So I taught in a community that was predominantly Mexican-American, and I kind of assumed going into it that because I was a person of color and that was a community of color, that we would have lots of things in common and culturally just kind of sync, which we didn't not sync, but there are a lot of things that I came to realize that are different because there's language differences, there's socioeconomic differences, and like the experiences generally of Mexican Americans are not the same as mine as an African American. So I built really good relationships with the parents and families that I taught in Arizona, and just got really excited at being able to still build relationships even though there was like a language barrier. And so really valuing and appreciating those cultural differences, and decided that was a really important thing for me to understand as a teacher and an educator. My dissertation is a self-study on my experiences in culturally and racially insensitive learning spaces, both as a teacher and as a student, so as a teacher and a learner. And my hope is that my story is kind of like a case example of what particularly girls of color and Black girls experience in going through schooling systems in the US, and I'm trying really hard to both share my own personal experiences as a case example, but also connect it more broadly things that are happening in the world. So it's not just like a story about me. I mean, I have 2 nieces who are, 2 little Black and brown girls, and I want their experiences to be better than mine. And there are lots of Black and brown girls all around the world, and I want their experiences to be better than mine. When I have children one day, I want their experiences to be better. So I look at things through the lens of race, but it also opens my eyes to understanding the challenges that different marginalized communities face, people with disabilities, women in general, people in the LGBTQ community. So I think about race because that's how I see the world, and it helps me by interrogating that. It actually helps broaden my perspectives on how other people see the world. I want lots of people to benefit from just the thought and ideas of like sharing stories no matter what their background and understandings of the world are. Well, I do hope that once my dissertation is done that I can turn it into a book, like a novel, because like I said, I really think that there's value in this idea of story. And I think there are other books and texts that are out there, but I think I'm thinking about it specifically as an educator, and specifically through the lens of being culturally responsive. So I feel like there are a few different areas and groups of people that can reach and touch. And I also I think that one of my strengths is a writer, and I think that I communicate really well through writing. And so that's kind of my way of trying to make the world a better place through writing and through teaching. Thinking back to the idea of lecturing, you're kind of there by yourself and you prepare by yourself, but collaborating with another person helps push your thinking, helps you think outside the box, helps you see some of your blind spots of okay, I'm not sure why you thought that was a good idea, but just to have another person I think is super important as an educator and as a teacher, and I could not be where I am today without some of those people working with me and helping me grow.